Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel, and in this one we have NUNU vs Rengar. Now, you're thinking, NUNU, spam ganking, yeah? Yes, except we have 8 cspm. So how do we spam gank with 70% kill participation, shut down an enemy jungler, and still farm like we're Kurthus? Well, that is for us to figure out in this video. Let's have a look to see what we're going to do exactly. Now, fortunately for us, we ain't seen no cheese from the red buff, although we could still do red Krugs level 2 bot lane. We see this ward here, it's nice and juicy. If the Rengar goes to his Krugs and Raptors, we will see that. If Rengar goes to red to Raptors, we will see that too. We will see all, thank you, mid laner. Now, of course we know that the Rengar's gonna most likely full clear down, so what the NUNU can do here is red Krugs Raptors, I'm gonna leave that in, and then flex. Do we want to then go through the river, gank bottom lane, so that the Rengar's ganking tempo is cut off? And if we're another kind of jungler, what I like to do here is actually this exact clear. Like as a Warwick, you know, you can kind of do the gank here, get it done, and then invade the Rengar. Anything that can invade Rengar in a strong fashion. But I do like this because it delays the Rengar's ability to vertical jungle, right? The Rengar sees you do a level 2 down here. He sees you go into the river. He knows, hey, like maybe I can steal your topside camps and you don't really want to go invading this or whatever, right? It kind of cuts him off a lot stronger in terms of his strategic diversity because now it's like, well, I guess you gank bottom lane, you kill my support, and I'm going to wait a little bit knowing you're going up, and then I'm going to cheese the bottom lane here. Although, is this necessarily going to work? I don't think so. I think Rengar here should have just focused very much on his clear. He does hit the bola, he does miss the bola. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's close, it's a noble attempt, I get it. You know, but their bottom lane was going to stay. Like, their bottom lane was straight up going to stay. Rakan was going to come back down. Once you'd finish the clear, then we could try something, right? It'd be much more effective to do that. Now it's severely compromised, you see. But the NUNU, as I said, the goal is to gank. The goal is to also farm. So, we do the right side quadrant, we do a gank, we cut off his options. Make him do desperate things. Then we decide, right, let's go back up to the top side. Now, of course, I could go ahead and do the Grump first, and I think here we should do the Grump first. Why? Because we know the Rengar's gonna go to this. Because he's got nothing else topside, right? It's 3:52 on the clock. This is gonna spawn at your 420 marker. This will spawn at your 435 to 445 marker. You know, this will spawn at your 5 minutes to 5 minutes 10 marker. These two things are available. He has nothing else to do if he wants to go back to base. And obviously, he's not gonna want to go back to base. He's gonna stay out here and most likely just, tackle the monsters, you know, do a bit of rugby, American football, whatever you choose to play, and, you know, he'll take those, which means we can afford to keep our sequencing efficient just by doing the drop, and then float onto the topside scuttle, which also in turn delays the first RNG scuttle, which is always a good thing. And we'd be level 4, right? So if we're level 4 ready from doing the grub, and top lane was gankable, we could do that and then fall back to the scuttle crab. A lot of options. Don't think I would have necessarily gone with the scuttle crab one, but of course GP is here. He dodges the drift ball, he has his flash, the stun goes through, he eats an orange, and that cleanses him of all scurvy and whatever sexual diseases he might have, because he's a degenerate, because that champion is disturbingly stupid. Now, Rakan moves to the mid lane, I don't know where that came from. Rakan moves to the mid lane here, level 2, goes in on the Victor, and of course we don't have a Jace in this game, but he would approve of that damage. We repeat again, like, if we're level 4, right? Extra damage, extra spell, extra everything. You know, when people survive low HP, maybe that's the amount you needed to get the kill. Now, obviously not in this particular case, but just in general, right? Maximize your output. A bottom lane, our resetting here as well. So obviously now we're gonna, you know, get level 4, we'll hold the turret. We will have that level 1 grump at the bottom there, or not, beneath us, which isn't exactly great. We'll get the E trigger, we'll knock him up in the meantime, but that is a juicy, fat, unlucky wave. I would not want to walk into that without basing, because of course Gangplank, he can now go back to base. This wave will still give us good experience, right? But that reduction does hurt champions like NUNU. That's the thing. We spam gank, hold a wave, push a wave, we get benefited. Now Riot's like, nope, we're reducing that, which is of course many, many patches ago at this stage, but you can see the effect here, right? Like you would be much closer to 5, if not 5. Rengar shows up here on this. I'm not sure why. What's your logic, Sir Cat? Because you know that this guy 99% took this. Like, I understand he probably thinks, he took the grub and not the scuttle, but I don't think we would necessarily bank on that, specifically because it is a NUNU, and he was level 3, right? If he showed top lane here, level 4, then you know he did the grub. But because he showed level 3, we know he did the scuttle crab. Now, as a Master Plus jungler, I'd expect you to recognize that. So we can just go this into this, and then we can do this, or we can get down here and contest this if we're feeling strong, which is great against a lot of junglers that you can defeat 1v1 as Rengar, but hey, It do be that way sometimes. Now we leave the base, we're gonna go straight for the Raptors. Can we do something about this? Yes. But much like the Zac, and again, are you noticing the tendency here? There's a strong ability for junglers to farm. The golden experience I put back on the map many patches ago, I said in that video, 13.5, 13.6, I said, you're gonna be able to farm a lot more effectively. Now, do we get the same kind of lead as we used to in Season 12? No, right? Yanking still has a closer relationship to the farming junglers than it did last season, but regardless, there's still a lot of farm on the map, so we go for the Bomby Cinder to amplify our ability to take those quadrants quickly, which amplifies our ability to get higher experience points and then rotate to things without having to worry about those camps being, left on the map and things like this. Huge. So we will go EU drift mode. We say, hello, I see you're on the dragon. I'll just commit a little bit. Does it hit? Boom! Explosion. Obviously, we're going face rush here. We push the Draven out. We don't have mid pressure. So in this particular case, you've seen me talk a lot about, hey, just accept that this dragon's gone, which the NUNU did. He accepted that they could not contest it because this guy was going to be here, which means we just kind of push the ADC off for a bit of drive-by flotation. Now you see here, we know that the NUNU is obviously going to go back to the red buff. Rengar will most likely look to invade purely because he's got Rumble here. Now in terms of a 1v1, would he actually try and do this without prior? It's a back and forth. You have to decide, can I win it, can I not? You're never getting the red buff against the NUNU. Like, you're never getting the red buff against the NUNU. Obviously we have the plant, so the NUNU's forced to flash here purely because of the Rumble ult. There's nothing else down here. This time invest from the Rengar's perspective isn't good. Because now you're thinking, well, wait a second, it is good, right? He forced a flash from the NUNU. I mean, yes, sure. But is that what you value in this game? Because the Rumble lost his ult, which means he doesn't have it for this particular play. GP has ult, fortunately, so it doesn't matter at all. And also, has Rumble ever lost a lane in his entire life? Oh, Zilean. Zilean? Zilean! Oh. Yeah, me, if he hit the first one. Who sees a Rumble lose? I swear I never see a Rumble lose I ever get. What the fuck? 2 snowballs? On the minimap there were 2. Just so you see what I'm saying. The invade is good because he's on red buff and I can beat him, right? Now my mid laner rotates, but there's no other camps. We burn the flash. The NUNU's quite chill about that. He's just going to go and farm until he gets ultimate. Rengar's not compromising his own experience or potentially resetting to get something here, because he's got 1,000 gold almost at this point. If you do this, you look for this. It's just, I don't know, 9 times out of 10, I'm all for that kind of invade. I like it, right? Because now we've taken the dragon and we want to play around the Herald side. I like it. I do. But I only like it if I know I can guarantee get the kill and get out. If I'm going to go in, burn a flash, waste my mid laner's time and his ultimate, now I can't necessarily use that for better play. I don't think that NUNU's necessarily going to lose much sleep off of not having his flash here, Sure, the flash E combo, but that's about it. And escaping, sure, but we're NUNU. We move fast. Rengar's ulting him now. We have boots plus a cloth armor. We're just going to knock him up, trap him in our ult, and go full explosion mode. He obviously can press the W button, which heals him a lot, but now, he's forcing things, this Rengar. He's just absolutely forcing things. You cannot win the 50-50. Now, the Rumble shows up. His ult is up again. Really, should that ult be up again? I don't feel like that should be up again. Rengar's just completely out of position. Victor's going to rotate here. Hit him with your laser, your big giant laser, yes. We get the assist, and now we can go back to the blue. Yeah, the sequencing from the NUNU is good, and that's why I love the Balmy Cinder. Still on tanks for a rush. I rush it on Mundo, I rush it on anything else I play that's tanky, because I value controlling my quadrant, controlling my econ, controlling my cspm 7 to 8, and still being able to rotate to scenarios without wondering, could I have taken that out with the extra in-blade damage, you know what I mean? So, obviously, it's not as gargantuan as it has been in the past, but you understand my perspective, I hope. Now, we have obviously snacked away the Herald. We'll take that, a little bit of taxation from the trade routes. We'll slap down the Herald here. This can be a nice and juicy slap down free plates for us. We'll give the Pantheon something. And again, the problem with Rengars and anyone who faces the NUNU who happens to be an assassin is obviously we don't like engaging on him and fighting against such a champion, but you have to not let yourself get distracted by the NUNU, right? You know what the NUNU is going to be doing. You know what his game plan is. What can I do to compromise it? And trying to match his tempo and ganking, trying to steal objectives away from him, it's not going to work. I'm squinting because I'm like, is he gonna get another double kill? I mean, the Victor's not going to roam as much as a Rumble. It's physically impossible. Also buffed Rumble recently as well for that. So, this is fine. If you get plates, if you get the shove, we'll take that. Obviously, here we don't overstate. We overstate to kill the GP. It is what it is. Now, The next dragon will be spawning shortly. We'll snack away that Grump. We can most likely finish off this wolf camp as well. We have 1500 in pocket. We know Rengo's most likely going to show up on the bottom side here to some degree. There he is, exactly right. Obviously, when you take those camps on the top side, you're going to go to the bottom side afterwards. And that's what I like, right? He kind of floated up top side again, contested like an idiot, died. And, you know, there's no point going to the top side to help the GP and defend against this thing when Rumble's doing it. Let me go to the opposite side. This is exactly it. Nunu is spending his time top side. I will go to the bottom side here. I'll gank the bottom lane and try and snowball the Draven. That's what you got to do, right? Play around that kind of strength rather than trying to match him. Because, as you see, you cannot. However, we do have the Sunfire built. Is it still called Sunfire? No, I see. Sunfire Aegis. Yeah, that's it. Full name. Now, I do enjoy the Aegis component that built into Stoneplate. I think Stoneplate is a nice item, but a lot of champions that just isn't used a lot. Side point, really, no real point of its own. Now, we go ahead and take the Raptors, obviously high traffic zone, so we can go to the river, but we see some action down here, so we shadow and cut down, and we want to make sure we're scanning and avoiding any possible Rumble surprises, which of course would have happened. So this is the brilliance of that. We see the Rumble again move, and we say yes, no, yes, 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 scan, loop. And of course, of course, the Rengar shows bottom lane with the ult, so we can assume if we're tracking properly that those CSs were taken, either before or after the gank, and if after, he's definitely still going to be in the zone, which of course he is. So we're going to change this into a nice Dragon Snack freebie into a Dragon Snack fighty. And everyone's here. We cut off the Rumble. We'll say we'll focus him down. Can we kill him? He's so damn strong. Kill him. There we go. Rengar's now out of position, getting desperate, forcing issues a little too much. Yeah. I mean, it's still better than Golden Guardians, Rengar. Gore Drinker, man. Gore Drinker conquer in a professional game when you should have just gone Fleet Divine. Like, I don't know. Really painful. See, I came from the time when I was spamming Rengar, or basically one-tricking that shit in Season 4 and getting... I had to minimize my champ select because people said I was trolling because I picked a jungle. This was before they specifically gave him jungle buffs. And he was only top laner basically Season 3. And so you would consider like an off-meta troll if you locked in Rengar jungle. I was like, no, I want to do this. So I did it. But of course, the whole season, right? When you see your champion in pro play, especially when you're just getting into the game, you're like, this is great, this is great. Obviously now we all know if we see our champion in pro play, we hate it because they're going to nerf it and make it useless. Sucks, is the way it is. But I saw Rengar get picked in pro play, but back then we had Fur Flow, the scaling kind of farming jungle item that gave you more damage, so you could just build that and build tank. But still, you had to build a tank, right? It was very fundamentally different to what you would necessarily go in solo queue, which at the time would have been Spirit of the Elder Lizard, jungle item for AD. It would have been a TM added to Ravenous Hydra, Last Whisper, Guardian Angel, and of course, Black Cleaver to finish. So, you know, you're seeing the differences in pro play for solo queue Rengar, but nowadays, against comps like they had today, you've got to really play it intelligent. Again, Rengar is still a significantly better assassin than he ever was as a tank. Like, can he be played as a tank? Can he be really good as a tank? Yes, of course. That's why he's a beautiful champion, but it's still better as an assassin, right? That's maximizing his strengths. Anyway, so we snack this baby. We go all the way up and take everything. We'll hold the top wave. This is where the CS comes from. The CS comes from just playing Nunu like an absolute regular jungler. Not like a psychotic villain from Arkham Asylum. You don't want to do Arkham Asylum jungling, 3 CS per minute silence. No, none of that shit. What we want to do is just clear our quadrant, track the enemy jungler, show up and hold a wave, do a gank here and there, take the objective, fall back to our quadrant, reset contest, shove someone out, pay attention to vision control, all the good old-fashioned fundies that make jungle so funsy. And now Rengar, of course, showed up top lane here, so unlikely he's going to rest around here for 10 years for this giant beetle that's going to spawn. And as we see, he goes down. So while we do kind of hold here a little bit of, is he going to show up? You don't truly think he is, but you always, in the back of your mind, it's the randomness, right? Okay, well, logically, he sequenced up, he's going down. I don't expect him to show up. Cool. But if he does, I am ready. Victor, could you help me burn this a little faster? Thank you so much. He goes to the bottom lane and does what he should be doing, which is killing the enemy ADC. Maybe if he did a bit more of that, instead of worrying about the Nunu's contests on the red and on the Herald, he could be in a better position. But we see him downside, so we decide to go snowballing. The flash is burned. We can now chunk our E. We'll get... King's applause for that one. Double stun, E hits, R hits, maximum. Got the Herald for usage over here. This is an exquisite example of how you can be an 80%, 8 out of 10 KP, right, in the early game, while out farming an enemy jungler, while controlling the objectives with just good, balanced approach. I love it. That's why this is how I would personally probably play represented in a NUNU kind of style. Obviously, I'll play differently if I'm, say, a Mundo or a Zyra and things like this, but like if I'm a Zyra, you know, I'll be playing similarly to this in terms of the balance of objectives, farming, and pressure, right? I'm not looking to invade the enemy junglers because unless I'm 2-3 levels out, I don't feel like running into a Kha'Zix unless I'm 6 and he's 4, and then, yes, of course, I have done that and showed it in videos, but you understand, right? And that's what in the courses I talk a lot about this, like how do we have the best meta-agnostic pathing practices and ideas so that when Riot changes jungle 18 times in a week, which again, they're changing the shit next week, I don't understand it, man, just stop. Let it rest. It's just let it rest for a bit. Honestly, you know, they change the whole game next week. But everything that NUNU's doing here, everything I talk about in coaching courses, all my content is designed and thought about, hey, what will stand the test of time? Because I feel like if you understand that raw baseline of what makes a house, even if architectural design changes, it's still a house, right? Like you can always build a house. So, you know, no matter what kind of a style you prefer in terms of your roof and your walls and your angles and, you know, built on the side of a mountain, built on the side of a tree, built on grass, a house is a house at the end of the day. So I feel like that's a great way to look at jungling as well. Because most of it doesn't matter anyway, right? Like, does the fact that they nerfed ganking and buffed farming and experience affect how you would play like this in Silver? No. If you played like this in Silver in patch 10.1, 10.1, Jesus Christ, 13.1, you know, and you played like it in 13.5, and you play like it now at 13. Whatever it is, 9, you'd have the same result. You would win. You would win. End of story. Now, would the Rengar get an extra boost of experience here from killing the Ezreal? Yes. But would it matter that he's level 11 instead of level 10? No. What all that matters is that we have 2 dragons, 2 heralds, we have 9 out of 12 KP, and we're juiced. There you go. So that's a bit of a spiel on that kind of fundamental stuff, which is why I like it. It's important, I think, you know. A lot of people have specific styles that are subject to meta certain metas existing, right? Like if you're really built to thrive on the Silas spam ganky meta, when that goes away, you're gonna lose. You're gonna be stuck. You're gonna go down. You're not gonna have a good time. And that's why when someone plays Elise, you know, very, very well, and there's always like high elo on Elise, no matter the meta, farming or ganking, it's because they just adhere to the right way to play ganking junglers. And even though it might not be a ganking meta, Elise and Rek'Sai can always do the good stuff to get fed, to carry games. That's how I like to think about it. Now, what we're doing here is we're going inside out, which is not so good because obviously we want to be joining our team rather than joining the victor. So we want to go Krugs, Raptors ideally, and then sequence up to this, and then look to push this, but they're backing base, so we can just stay out and take this or do this like this. Either way, you want to be pathing towards your team in the mid game. Victor's going to be splitting down here, and our sequencing is a little off. If it's not up, then obviously go for the Raptors into the Krugs, fine, but you could always just cut out the Krugs too and give them to Victor. If you're on high elo, give this to your split push if you want it, and just kind of float and take all. Now you're ready to shadow it and do the good things. But again, like this is a great example of mid-game farming. What are you doing in this particular stage? I had a coaching session literally with the Silver Kane last night. We focused very heavily on this mid-game farming because that's when he lost a lot of his golden experience. And it was because he just didn't think about his laner's back timing and the next objective. Hey, look, there's a quiet moment. I can actually full sequence towards the next thing we want to do. Like this, what he just did here, huge. Because a lot of players in low elo would just now go looking and hunting. It's like, well, no one can help you. And if you die, you probably give them a Baron, and that's a throw. So do your sequencing, wait for your team to come out of base, join up, sync up, snack that up. Rengar jumps in because this guy is absolutely desperate, tilted. Yes. I hate Rakan too. Just, I mean, NUNU plus Zilean is pretty good. Like, you go super fast. Maybe they could stop making those movies now. Please. Right. Pretty good game, though. I mean, like, if you're just a fan of how do I just straight up jungle diff, balance ganking and farming, balance everything, and destroy enemy junglers, this is it. It ain't gonna be sexy, but you're gonna have a lot of fun in game. Like, in the game, you're just going here, you're going there, you're playing around your team, you're killing people, you're getting the win, you're taking everything, like, you're just smurfing it, relaxed, you've got tool on, it's nice, right? So, like, this is how you climb. It's not always going to be a cheese. It's not always going to be 25 kills, but it's good, right? Now, of course, we'll join the top side here. We could have waited for our team, but then, you know, arcade shifted. They can just be fast. The enemy team has to basically be very, very patient. Try their best to maybe use some split pressure, but I don't think they necessarily have that. You know, the strong team comp on the blue team, they're hugely spiking at the moment, and they'll keep getting stronger too. You know, the Victor's going to become disgusting. Ezreal as well with a NUNU. Rengo's just floating up here. He hits the Bola. The GP goes in. The Panther just flashes for the stun. Make sure we get the pop on the Weasel. Guy's TP as well coming up. So this should be a GG. Hopefully most of you... GG. Hopefully most of you saw the email that I sent out with the Jungle Improvement PDF, extra chapter, how to kind of structure, you know, your game time and what's the best way to kind of give yourself a bit of a mini schedule to improve, just to make sure that you're all set up for that. So that's free for everybody. Just distribute it now automatically. It's all updated. Hopefully that's something you enjoy. Bit of NUNU action today. While my audio drivers have failed me, thus I'm using my headphones, which are great, but I don't like working with headphones, right? It's for whiskey night and game, not editing and producing. So regardless, thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, comment if you did. Don't forget to subscribe. This channel could use some bonus subscribers. And as always, all my information and everything at Virkayu.gg, and I'll see you all in the next one.